guys, Ray from Lovey RV and Boat. Today's project is to install a new motor for my bow thruster. I have the SideShift brand, the type you can attach to the outside of the hull. You don't have to drill a big hole in your hull to install it. It came installed in our new to us boat, and I think it's about 8 years old. Done a bit of work on it over the years and done a few videos on it. Recently, we have the boat out of the water, prepping for spring launch, and I noticed when I spun one of the props, it was quite squeaky on one side. So I took it apart and I found there was a rubber seal in there that had kind of gotten all hard and let a little bit of water pass into the motor that was causing it. Did a video of taking it apart and replacing that seal. I contacted the company to see if they had, on the end, there's some rubber seals. And they did, so I purchased rubber seals and new anodes. But they also were interested in my experimentation with lithium batteries. Last year I ran my bow thruster off a pair of lithium batteries with pretty good success, no problem, actually worked better than ever. So they offered to send out their new 24-volt motor for me to experiment with this year. And so I'll be putting the 12-volt aside, using it as a backup, and I'll install a new 24-volt, rewire my lithium system for 24, and do that testing over the summer. I was happy to see that they've done away with the air vent that needed to be attached. The older model I had to put in a tube and run it back into your boat to release air, but I guess they've solved that, so there's really just two connections for the wiring to deal with. So here's what's in the kit. It had really good instructions and photos, etc. Basically what you have to do is install new straps, stainless steel straps, and there's some 3M to peel off and stick to the motor in there. And then on the end, got new hardware for attaching the props. My props are okay, so we'll just reattach it. And there's little pins that go in over here to do that. They say to coat that with grease. I'll just use some bearing grease for that. And then the straps, there's two different mounting things I have to do for the straps. These, you can see the straps have one is kind of an indented concave affair there, so that fits on the top, and then the bottom comes around and it's more of a flat end. So on the top part we have a big Phillips screw, and then some washers and nylock nuts, and they say to put some thread locker in there, blue medium strength. They included that in the kit. And then they also have this arrangement for doing the other one. There's a spacer, and then they have an Allen wrench on the top of that head. There is these fiber washers. That's for a different model. The model I have doesn't utilize those, but they're included. And then new rubber caps for the electrical connections. And I have to put some Sikaflex in there, cut a slot. So installation looks pretty straightforward. And we'll get to it. So read this a little more detail, and the thread locker appears to be for the threads for the nut for the props there. And then I didn't see any anti-seize compound included, but I have some. And I'll coat all the rest of the stainless with that. All these nuts appear to be nylock nuts, so they don't need any thread locker on them. There we go, lined up pretty good. Had a little trouble with this back nut though. I couldn't get the washer on. There's just room for the nut there. So I had to forego the washer. It could be the buildup of my anti-fouling paint and bottom paint on it, or just a different model. This is an older bow thruster from back around 2018. Anyway, it's pretty secure. Put the props on now. So just gave it a light coat of grease on there and put the little pin in. The pin fits in the channel in the prop. I'm going to put some thread lock on the outside threads in the washer, and we'll do up that nut. There we go. So there isn't any torque specs for any of these nuts. just says do up securely. It's 11/16 socket. They have it all listed in the instructions what the sizes of the nuts are for the wrenches you need. The only one they really specify in red is don't over tighten the nut for the electrical as damage may occur. Okay, not looking too bad. Next we'll do the electrical. I'm going to change these lugs on that. First of all, I noticed they were a little too big, and they're kind of got a little bit of corroded from last year, so I want to put some fresh ones on. There we go, some fresh lugs. These are a 2 gauge, 5/16 hole size, so they'll fit nice on that connection there. Got myself this year for the boat a nice hydraulic crimper. I'll be redoing a lot of the lugs this year on the boat, and also put on some double-walled heat shrink tubing with glue in it, so it seals out any moisture, especially because it's going to be in the water. You can see the nice crimp that thing makes. Nice hex crimp on the wire. Anyway, continue on. So there's no mention of the exact torque value they want. It just says moderately tight. I guess they don't want you spinning underneath, breaking the inside connection. Anyway, kind of did it up, kind of tool tight. Definitely plenty tight. And then this will go over the top, just like so. And then they want you to make a tiny slit, and then we'll get some Sikaflex 291 and fill it up. Keep the ocean out. So, cut a little slit in the cover there and filled her all full of the Sikaflex, and then added the sacrificial anodes, zincs. So let's have a look at the electrical setup. Now keep in mind I'm not a marine technician, so this is more of an experimental thing that I'm DIYing on my own. So take everything here with a grain of salt. It's not considered instructional in any way. Anyway, these are the 2 lithium batteries I've used, and they're a Watt Cycle brand. They're 280 amp hours each, which the capacity doesn't mean much in this situation. You don't use too much energy at all with the short bursts of the bow thruster. It's more the current discharge capability of them. Each of them are able to handle continuous 200 amps. Their battery management system allows that. If it goes a little bit above, it'll shut down the battery to protect the cells. I'm not sure exactly the surge capabilities, but last year I had them paralleled for my 12-volt motor, and that would give me a capability of 400 amps continuous and somewhat more for a surge capability, and I never had any problems at all with them. So you can see this year with the new 24-volt motor, I've wired them in series, and they are a type of lithium that you're able to wire them in series. So first I charged each of them to completely full state before I hooked them up, just so they're all balanced. And every once in a while I'll probably have to go through, unhook them, and charge them each individually just to keep the cells balanced in there. So what I've done is I've wired them with 2-aught cables. Down here we've got the grounding point on this bus bar. One of the cables goes back to the main boat's grounding bus bar, and the other one goes to one end of the battery. Then they're series together. Comes out the other end on the positive there, and I've put a 300 amp Class T fuse there for protection of the wiring. Comes up to an on-off switch, so I'm able to quickly turn the system on and off if need be. And then over to the SideShift relay here that switches back and forth on, it reverses the polarity so that the prop spin one way and the other, so the boat goes one way and the other. And then on the output of that, there's some 2-gauge cable. It's what was in here before. I've replaced it. It had kind of rotted out over the years. And then it goes out to the bow thruster. So not a very long cable run at all. And by having these lithium batteries, I can put them in a living area. I don't have to worry about having them. The lead acid were way back in the engine bay, so there was quite a long wiring run to get to them, whereas this is a very short and compact wiring run. Now for turning it on and off, they do come with a wireless controller and toggle. Had a little problem with the toggle. The keypad on it had kind of worn out. I've since learned that they will give you a free keypad, replacement keypad, but at the time I was looking at replacing the whole toggle switch assembly. So I made my own, but I still had kind of issues with the wireless sometimes being flaky, and I just preferred to hardwire it. So I have my own cable coming down here, and then right there it goes up to our flybridge, and I put my own toggle and my own shutoff switch, and then I soldered the wire straight there. Basically all it's doing is grounding one point to turn the bow thruster one way or the other. It still needs 12 volt power because this is a 12 volt solenoid. I'm reusing the old solenoid, and I'm collecting that off of another 12 volt position. So I've run the windlass breaker is here, so that's the wire coming to power the windlass, and I've just put the 12 volt for the solenoid power there. And then this goes off and it goes up and powers my Maxwell windlass. Anyway, it's greatly simplified my wiring by going to the 24 volt, and hopefully everything will work well. We'll give it a test, and then later on we're going to test her in the actual ocean, make sure everything is working once it needs a little bit more torque to move the boat through the water. Oh, one other thing, charging. You can see there's a wire down here that's going over to the battery and also the ground bus bar, and that's coming from a charger that I have down under here. You don't really need to recharge these batteries much. Like I say, they don't use much of the capacity with 560 amp hours. Probably go all season without recharging them. But anyway, this is a top-down Tornado 30,000 charger, and it can do lithium and lead acid, and it can do 30 amp 12 volt or 15 amp 24 volt, and it can do lithium. So all I do that is plug that into my inverter in here in the boat and let her charge up the batteries. I do have a solar controller I could install, but last year I found these things really didn't use much of the capacity at all, so should be good. Also, these batteries are a waterproof battery, even though I shouldn't need it in here. If I've got water filling up in here, I've got bigger problems than these batteries. Okay, try again. Give it a little bit longer. Great. Okay, so that's the dry line test. Looks pretty good. We'll have to get her in the water. Okay, got Captain Ann's going to give her a test. Get close up here. Yeah. Happy? Yay. 2 thumbs up. Yeah. Do a quick test at the dock here so you get an idea what it looks like from the bridge. There we go. And the other way. So I've put on a clamp-on meter to monitor the amount of amps it's drawing and also it's inrush current. So we'll just go to a screen and I'll show you that. In this video, I've been using a pair of Watt cycle batteries, the same pair that I used last year with good success, and they seem to be working so far this year. I've probably tested them a dozen times, no problem. But their ratings are pretty close to the maximum that would be required to run the bow thruster. Just in the tests you saw, you could see it was pulling right around 200 amps. To use it, and the inrush was 325. So I was thinking about this battery that I've been reviewing as part of a RV system, and the specs on it seem to be ideal for this type of application. So, but I only had one of these batteries. Obviously, I need two, so maybe next year I might try to test these out. Anyway, they're a new battery from Renogy, a solid state lithium iron phosphate battery, and they have excellent specs. So let me show you the specs here. Rated capacity 240 amp hours, but maximum discharge current 240 amp continuous. But they also can do a surge discharge current 450 amps for 30 seconds. So the bow thruster you never really have on for more than a few, like 5 seconds or something, maybe 10. They don't really want you to have it on longer than that. So this looks like it would be a good bet for that bow thruster system. And also it has excellent safety aspects to it. It's seawater resistant, engineered with marine grade armor, 24-hour salt spray tests, and also their IP67 dustproof and waterproof and fire retardant. So very extremely safe battery. They're also in a sealed like metal case, which I kind of like in a boat, weatherproof casing. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. Well, there we go. Pretty good upgrade for this season. Anne says that she thinks it has a little bit more pulling power than the 12-volt model we had. But we'll continue using it this season. If there's any problems, I'll come back and let you know. Till next time, Ray from Love You RV and Boat. Cheers, guys.